The Heart and Vision Award is presented to Dr. Grafton Antone and to Dr. Eileen Antone in recognition of their dedication to social justice and with our gratitude for their commitment to raising the human spirit.
Good evening. It's real nice to see the church full again. My story that I want to tell is very attuned to the gospel, and I've been working a lot lately trying to discern what is it that's needed for the church today. And I took the Gospel of Mark apart. I took it all apart, and then I put it around in a big circle. And then I said, now these are how we as people need to approach the Gospels, to go around in a circle and then come all the way around and get back there. And the story, by the time you get back, you should be a new person. There was a man named John who came baptizing people with the message of repentance. There was another man named Jesus who came and was baptized by John. There were many Aboriginal men and women who came to urban centers to find a place, to find work, because on their isolated communities that they came from, there was no work, there was no income money, there was none of those good things that are out there. So they came here. When I arrived here in '95, I did a feasibility study about what are the needs of our Aboriginal people today. And as I went to all the centers here in Toronto, Native Canadian Centre, NAMI Res, Ontario Friendship Centers, Council Fire, where else? Andayan. I visited all these places, and Native Women's Center just over there on Gerrard, Anishinaabe Health. I went and checked it out, introduced myself to all the... There was a man, that story. Anyways, I was coming as a messenger, making friends. There's a story in the Ungwihungwe tradition, in the Confederacy, Six Nations Confederacy, how a peacemaker came. And he came with a message of strength and power and peace. There was all kinds of bad things going on amongst the nation's peoples. Nothing was working. There were strong people here and there, and everything wasn't right. Creator came and said, we have to do something. And he sent this man, Diganawit. And Diganawit came and told the people that we got to start doing things with our mind by thinking. We need to think good thoughts. We need to tell good stories. We need to tell things, and that message went out. Confederacy was formed, and he went on. As when I arrived in '95 here, I said, I can do all these things, but just need a job. So at the end of the feasibility study, 30-day feasibility study, I think I got a little grant for somebody to do. So at the end, I said, after visiting all the Indian centers, there is a really need for listening, for healing. And so I came to Council Fire, and Reva Jewell was the director, ED, how do you say it, executive director at the time, and she says, that's what we need. We need someone to do all these services for us. Otherwise, we're always looking for somebody to do something for us, and yet. And I said, well, I can offer my services. And she said, when can you start? I said, well, tomorrow, I guess. She says, good. Sunday you start. So this was probably Wednesday or Thursday. So Sunday I started with a service at Council Fire, 11 o'clock, invite the people in, and because at noon, Council Fire served the community, the people who came there. They weren't all people, there were people that were like homeless and things like that, and they needed that extra food that was available from Council Fire. And so at 11 o'clock I went in there and I started the service. I just told them, you know, this is our land. You know, we need to reclaim back some of this land. This land here in Council Fire, it's Ongahumwe territory, it's Anishinaabe territory, it is our land. And the next thing I heard after, hey, yeah, and the excitement, the fire started. Pretty soon as it went on, I was going all over, and we were getting asked to do these things, and then the drums. There's Jimmy Dick and his drums, and the other drummers, they came, and I invited them to go to different places and churches and stuff like that, because there was a change. And we start listening to the people. We did 3 healing circles in 97. Healing Fund from the United Churches Healing Fund got $10,000 to do something. And then that was good. And then the next year, 2 years later, we done another bigger one, and we went to 6 nations, and we had a big healing circle there. And we heard the people start sharing the stories and start sharing their hurt. They start sharing it, and there was healing started to come around. And that, to me, was the response that was needed to bring the people together in a good way here in Toronto, the Aboriginal, Indigenous, the Indians, people from all walks of life came there, and we celebrated. We celebrated with the drum. We celebrated with the women hand drum singers, and I really enjoyed their singing because they just stood up here and there and I can play, and they brought their drums and they made lines and they started singing. And one of the big songs that they sang was Strong Women's Song, and wow, those women, when they stood up, they stood everybody up, and they were, the power of the drum and the power of the word is exactly what we needed. The RCAP report came in, then that wasn't good enough. We had to have more, and they finally got the TRC people to come and run. That's when I met our Justice Murray Sinclair at the time. He was running hearings, and we had him here in Toronto. Council Fire was one of the leading advocates, and Council Fire still leads in that department. They're still strong, and if you need something fixed up, just let Council Fire know and they'll fix it up. Anyways, I think this is my time, and I really enjoy this work. Thank you very much for the award, and I thank all the churches that helped me, and like Trinity St. Paul's, Metropolitan here, St. Luke's, Kingston Road United, and everybody that helped in that beautiful circle. It was amazing. Thank you.